normally I realize that I tend to be reactionary with deciding to record one of these videos rather than preventative or um, proactive about it. So I want to give that a try, um, rather than waiting for myself to fall into the rabbit hole of scrolling Instagram discovery, Instagram reels for 30 minutes. You know, I thought I'd figure, or I figured I would just start the day with a reflection, because I feel like it's typically right when we wake up and right when we go to bed when all that demon talk comes in, right? When we feel the most shitty, because that's when we're least distracted. That's when we have time for our mind to be in its most natural, pure state. So I'm gonna use that to my advantage. I'm gonna leverage it and I don't know, just voice my thoughts, see what kind of gunk is there. I'm feeling a little, I don't know, poopy. I was feeling really sad yesterday, and then I felt a lot better once I went out for a walk and did this and talked to a stranger. And I mean, I was even feeling quite just freaking alive, just super, just excited. I was feeling amazing. And I've been having a taste of that lately. I've been having these periods, these block of times in a day where I feel fucking incredible. And, it's reminding me of how I used to be when I most loved myself, when I was most proud of myself. And I feel like I'm definitely heading back to that, right? I'm in the right direction. I'm definitely heading to the right destination in that sense. But it's also tough. Like, I feel like I've now reached a point where I can be myself, like, really well, really wholeheartedly, but only, like, or mainly when I'm by myself. And it's a little easier to stay in that, like, really great, to have that really great energy, to stay in that really great headspace by myself. And so I think there's still some resistance, still something lacking. I'm feeling a little nervous, a little anxious at the moment. But yeah, like, I feel like I still have that automatic habit of, like, toning myself down, Like, I've noticed in the past, like, sometimes, like, I'll be feeling really good, and then I'm, like, walking down the street, and, like, I'll pass by, like, a man or something that's, like, just, like, really, like, angry looking, just, like, glaring. Maybe they, like, look at me and they're, like, staring at me like this. And like, I've noticed in the past the automatic instinct for myself is to, like, tone it down, like, to not want to attract attention and shit. And yeah, I mean, I think it's part of that same fear that I've talked about, where, like, I fear of judgment, fear of criticism, stuff like that. Just thinking, like, my mind will think that, like, oh, they're gonna, like, fucking shit on me, or, like, yell at me, or make some comment, and shit like that. Oh my gosh, I just unlocked a frickin' memory that I haven't thought about in years. Holy shit. Oh my gosh, it just reminded me of this memory where I was walking with my ex. We were walking, like, to a college campus, and I had, like, some ice cream. And I'm someone that, like, I believe in the the 5-second rule, right? Like, if something drops, just a nice little brush off, and I'll still eat that shit. It strengthens my gut bacteria too, I bet. Which I think is actually the case. I feel like there's a lot of, I've heard a lot about like studies and stuff of like, I don't know, when you like eat with your hands, like in India they eat with their hands, or like in certain places in the world, like the standards of like say food is just much lesser, and or like as a kid, I think like if your kid eats food or puts things in his mouth, eats shit from the ground, like uh, it actually strengthens their like immune system because they get more like bacteria and shit. But anyways, the point being, I think my mind was trying to like contextualize and like make some sort of like excuse, so that because I felt a tiny bit of discomfort in thinking about saying this story, and damn, yeah, it's crazy. Like I was basically walking with her, and we had ice cream, like a popsicle, and like I dropped like my whole popsicle, like I just started eating it. It was like the whole thing. I didn't want it to go to waste. It fell on the ground for like a couple seconds, and I picked it up, and I think I like probably brushed it off or something, and I like started eating it again. And oh my gosh, this is fucking crazy. I haven't thought about this in years, man. Oh my gosh. And then there was some fucking dickhead across the street who was judging me so hard and like couldn't keep their fucking mouth shut. And they were like, I don't know, they were standing on their porch or something, and they saw this unfold, and they fucking hollered across the street, and they were like, "That's fucking disgusting," or some shit like that. And like, holy fuck, now that I think about it, like, fuck them, holy shit. Fuck them right up, man. And that's the thing, man. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I haven't thought about this in so long, man. Like, there's gonna be times where people are just assholes. People wanna shit on you for whatever. I was so fucking happy. I was so like giddy and just like not giving a fuck. And I remember feeling pretty shit when they yelled that at us. And my girlfriend was really embarrassed. My ex-girlfriend was really embarrassed at the time. I remember she was really upset at me. And now that I think back to it, that's some bullshit too, man. Like, I mean, I understand where she was coming from. Like, it is unpleasant to like be publicly mocked, or for someone to like just kind of shit on you in public like that. But at the same time, like, I mean, I think it's really telling, right? Like, I mean, I understand it. Like, I've been struggling a lot with like getting past like the public discomfort and stuff. And you definitely have to go things at like a very controlled rate. It sucks to like do things way out of your discomfort zone, like when you're not ready for it. So like, I understand where she's coming from. I don't blame her. I might react the same. But now that I think about it in like the current now, like in the now, like I realize, one, fuck that person for fucking judging us and shitting on us. But and then like like at the same time I realized like, okay, well, I think my girlfriend cared a lot about what people thought, and or my ex-girlfriend. Sorry. I mean, no, I don't want to say any. Let me be mindful. Let me be careful about how I say this. I think, regardless of whether people around me care a lot about what others think, or are embarrassed by me, or like, like, I guess that's what I'm kind of getting at. Like, I don't want to have people around me that are really close to me that are embarrassed of me. Like, at the same time, like, obviously I want to be mindful not to like do anything that makes them really uncomfortable, because that their feelings matter, or all their feelings matter too. But we choose how to respond, and I think that's where the difference is. Like, I would want to respond in a way where I can live in that way that I want to, with the value. I want to live as if I don't care. even if I feel like I care, I want to get to a point where I can live a life where I don't care what people think, where I don't care what people say to me. I don't care if people shit on me, or even if I care, which is natural probably. I don't want it to affect me. I don't want it to. Um, I don't want it to dissuade me from being who I want to be, from being me. And man, I hadn't thought of that in like 5 years, man. Such an old memory, holy shit. But I remember just feeling, I mean, it was just a double whammy. Like, for one, this fucking person yelled at us. And then, my ex was very upset about it too. And these are the type of moments that will pop up, that define us. Like, we choose how to respond to these type of things. And I feel like this is one of those examples where early on, when I still was like very proud of myself, still loved myself, still lived a life in a way that I was really happy about, I feel like this might have been one of those moments where I let people take that away from me. Because I can't control what people say. I can't control my ex's feelings. I can't control anyone's feelings. But I think I definitely could have made myself understood and had the courage to make myself understood. I mean, I could do my own things too. Like, I could have yelled back. I could have responded. I could have done all these things, I'm sure I could have had a more in-depth conversation, or spent more time to reflect and process my feelings and see how I want to respond. There's always things we can do, and we can't change the people around us. We can't control them. I think, in my experience, the greatest thing to make someone change, or to influence change, is to change yourself and not put any pressure on them. And so, yeah, it's just fucking crazy, man. I remember feeling like just ashamed and like a little guilty, kind of like a kid being reprimanded, But it's some bullshit, man. I don't want to fall back in that habit or that lifestyle. I mean, it still controls me, no doubt. Like, I've definitely made a lot of progress. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable than I used to be. But it's a tough, I guess, ideal to try to live by, to not give a fuck, to not care what people think. But maybe a more accurate, like, idea or ideal would be, it's okay if I feel like I care what people think, but I want to respond in a way where I don't care what people think. I mean, as long as, like, I'm not, like, doing things that are shitty, or, like, I'm not being an asshole to other people. It's not about, like, being selfish, but it's about, like, upholding my own boundaries, like showing myself respect, showing myself love, being my own best friend, and standing up for myself. And I think that's something I've really struggled with. Voicing my needs, voicing my thoughts. I would always just kind of minimize myself, minimize my feelings, silence, suppress my thoughts, suppress my feelings. And, in a way, I'm kind of glad for it, because it helped me. I feel like my response was to just try to understand everyone, because I didn't have the courage to stand up for myself. And, I think it is a very important value to understand others. So in a way, I'm glad, but I'm also glad to be where I am now, to be heading in the direction I'm heading now, and to be heading or to be closer to being someone who loves themselves, respects themselves, is proud of themselves. I mean, I already am. I'll say it. I am proud of myself. I am starting to really love myself. And it's been a great journey. Still a lot more I want to do, but there's no rush in doing it. I just need to accept myself where I'm at, be honest with myself, and everything will fall into place bit by bit. But I'm definitely really enjoying the journey so far, for the most part. I mean, there are times like this where, part of fighting demons, part of like diving deeper into like the why of like who I am right now. Like, why is it that like, you know, these really negative, critical, judgmental thoughts will pop up about myself or about others? Like, why, right? And like, why is it that X, Y, and Z makes me really uncomfortable? Why is it that like it would be really uncomfortable for me to dance in public, right? For example. And for me, like my answers, like personally, I found that I that is overwhelming, like fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of criticism, and it's going to be different for all of us. But for me, I think that's been like the big trifecta of things that affect me. Um, and I think the other major thing is like I've always, for much of my life, I've sought outcomes. Like I based my value off of outcomes, off of my grades, like or at least like the people around me. I was always like the smart kid, right? A lot of times we start being defined by the people around us. Like, oh, they're so gifted. Like, oh, they're so smart. Like, oh, they're gonna do great. Like, oh, like they never fail. Like they pass all their tests. They get A's all the time. Like, it sets the bar really high. It sets that baseline. But a lot of the times it's not. It's not ourselves. We're not deciding that baseline of who we are. It's being decided by the people around us, our parents, our teachers, our peers, our society, fucking random ass people on the internet, including me. Don't let me decide for you. I want you to decide for yourself. Um, these are conversations we need to have with ourselves and inner dialogues we need to have. And no one can have it for you. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to all of us. And some people will never have it. Some people won't want to have it. Some people will never want to have it. So we can't change others. Just we can focus on ourselves, focus on our action and what we do. And yeah, I'm feeling better. Still feeling pretty low mood a little, but I'm really glad I was proactive and beat my brain to the chase. I turned on the camera, started voicing my thoughts before I had to. I was proactive about it. I didn't wait until I felt like I really needed to. But yeah, I think I want to do this more often, maybe in a more scheduled way, maybe like once in the morning, once before I sleep, and just generally voice my thoughts, because I am terrible. Like, I can be in my head all day, and it helps to just, we don't always have people around us, friends or family, that we can talk to, or maybe we don't feel comfortable talking to them. I think it's definitely the case for me to some extent. Sometimes I'm more comfortable talking to a camera than I am to any human in this world, which I guess makes sense, because I'm essentially talking to myself, and then I guess I'm just recording it and letting the world see that process. But it's a little different than talking to the world. But anyways, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird thing. I'm like talking to myself, but I'm also talking to you guys, or strangers, or the human race on the internet. I don't know, man. But yeah, it's helpful for me. That's what matters. I lost a subscriber yesterday, which is it used to hurt. It used to sting like a blade to the chest. But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have to mean anything. It's nothing personal. Everyone's living their own life, living their own world. I'm just gonna do me, do what feels right to me, do what helps me, because this very much helps me. And if people want to listen, they will. If they don't, they won't. Not in my control, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright, I guess that's about it.